For those of you guys that don't know, Joe Biden has unveiled a plan to wipe $10,000 of student loan debt from nearly every borrower and an additional $10,000 to those that received Pell Grants. So up to $20,000 of essentially free money to people that have student loan debt. Now, this is obviously controversial for many reasons, but we'll get into that here in a minute. I just want to give you a few little perspective things that most of you probably don't know, but this is not like a signed, sealed, delivered, done deal. This absolutely could get shot down. The Supreme Court could rule on this, and to be honest, maybe they should based off of what we'll get into in a minute. But also, there's a lot of legal issues. One that many people aren't considering is the financial institutions that service these loans are legitimately getting screwed over. Now, I might not like these people, you might not like these people, but there is a case to be made that the shareholders in Sallie Mae absolutely can sue the government because they are the government is essentially altering the deal, and they are losing money because they can no longer service these loans that are getting ready to be forgiven. That's how banks make money, right? Banks make money by you servicing the loan and paying the interest. So it's just an angle that you may not know, and many of the news sites and people talking about this are talking about it from the perspective that this is like for sure guaranteed going to happen, and Supreme Court might say no. It absolutely could happen. Another thing to consider is that this is going to take a long time, even if it does happen and everything goes swimmingly. The process of verifying all of these people, verifying their incomes, the people they say they are, paying back the right loans, it's going to take a very long time to process people through the system. So long that Joe Biden may not even get credit for it. King Cheeto himself may be in office by then, or Florida man, or Biden's second term. Who knows? Anything could happen, right? He might win re-election, right? Before I talk about the reasons why I don't like this, let me give you my bias and my background. So I did not go to college. Out of high school, I worked for myself for 5 or 6 years. Then I decided I wanted to learn a trade and just have a skill under my belt where I could get a job if I needed to. So I learned how to weld, hence the welding helmet behind me. I attended a trade school at a community college for 6 or 7 months, something like that. Spent $3,000. Got a job before I left college. I had a job, and then I made all $3,000 of those dollars I spent learning how to weld back in 3 weeks. So that is my story with higher education. At this current moment, I am not welding, but it was absolutely worth the money to learn a skill that is in demand because I could move anywhere in the country and get a job tomorrow. I really like that as something to fall back on, and it's nice knowing how to do something that is genuinely in demand. Now that you have my backstory, let's get into it. So the number one problem with this, and the 9 million pound elephant in the room, is that it's just inherently unfair to the people that have paid their loans back or never took them in the first place. And even the people supporting this that are really happy about it, deep down they know it's kind of gross, and it is. And even the staunch supporters of the student loan forgiveness will even admit, yes, it's unfair, but it's it'll do this and it'll do that. It's unfair. It's definitely unfair. There's no getting around the fact that this sucks to the people that actually did the work to pay it back, and now they have to do it again. Like, that's the reality. The reality of the situation is that, little Johnny over there that busted his ass to pay his student loans back in full now has to pay for this person. Have fun. You get to do it all over again. Next big problem is that long-term, this is pointless. This does nothing for future student loan borrowers and does nothing to lower the cost of college. If anything, it's going to raise the cost of college because now the colleges can be like, look, $20,000 got forgiven, so it's really not that expensive if you think about it. So, I don't know, the problem, if anything, is just going to get worse. This is a Band-Aid on a dam that's exploding. Another thing people are forgetting about is that student loan interest has been frozen for a very long time. People have already been essentially given thousands and thousands, and in the case of doctors, tens of thousands of dollars in student loan forgiveness through the sheer fact that they just haven't been accruing interest this whole time. They've already gotten a lot, and now they want even more, and some of them are still not happy with it. It's kind of crazy. This genuinely is welfare for the rich at this point. I personally live near a few college campuses. Virginia Tech is like a 15-minute drive away, and Radford University is right in my backyard. And what I've noticed is that these college campuses are exceptionally nice. To an extreme degree. The lawns are manicured. There are gardens with beautiful flowers. The buildings are all brand new. State-of-the-art fitness facilities. Food that is genuinely amazing. The college experience at these places is phenomenal. In fact, it's almost like it's a 4-year vacation. I'm not sure why we are sending kids to go on vacation at a country club for 4 to 6 years when most of them just want to drink excessively and fuck and get a job at the end of it. Why do these college campuses have to have like stone buildings? And I love Virginia. I mean, it looks great, but like seriously, like cost benefit, does it matter in the grand? Like why are we doing this? So what's the result of all this? Well, Joe Blow, the construction worker, is going to be paying for it, and not directly, but indirectly through inflation. When he's getting his gas station hot dog, Red Bull, and cigarettes, it's going to be more expensive. And that's how we pay back the debt. We pay it back through inflation. It's kind of how we've always done it. So Joe Blow will be paying for Susie's gender studies degree and Tyrone's MD doctorate degree, both of them, while he works himself to death like the horse at an Animal Farm. Congratulations. This is the fucking result. This is what's happening. There's a massive amount of cognitive dissonance that's happening right now with a lot of the supporters of the student loan forgiveness. They are totally okay with Joe Biden having the power to sign his pen and give people $20,000. But they would absolutely not be okay with Donald Trump doing it or Ron DeSantis doing it. And what is the outcome of this? If this is the new precedent where the president is just giving people money and buying votes, like what happens if Trump gets in there and he's just like, Joe Biden only gave you 20, we're going to give you 50. It's ridiculous. And somebody's going to say, oh, that's just a hyperbolic example. Really? Is it really crazy? Because if you would have told me 8 years ago that all of these COVID policies and all of just the sheer madness that's been going on for the last few years, I would not have believed you. I would not have believed you if you told me that we were going to pay people $800 a week to actively not work and then tell them they don't even have to look for a job. And I was somebody that got laid off. That's the craziest thing, is that I was somebody that benefited from it, and I could tell that it was gross. I would have dug ditches. I could have gotten another job. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But if you're going to pay me $800 a week, that's $600, and then the state gave you like close to $200, to not work, and then send me an email every week telling me that not only do I not have to, like it's not required, it's crazy. Perverse incentives lead to perversion. Now, what's the solution? If you need to give people money, just give them money. Give no stipulations, no perverse incentives. Just give everybody a stimulus check. Everybody gets it. It's fair, equal. That's what they should have done from the start with all of this. All of this government, whatever, should all be just flat across the board. Everybody gets it. PPP loans shouldn't have happened. Unemployment craziness shouldn't have happened. If people are struggling and you want to, give them a little stimulus shot in the ass, cool. Send everybody a check. Everybody gets it. Flat amount. Done. No perverse incentives. Why do you do that? Because you can help the people that are struggling, but also not disincentivize and give people perverse incentives to abuse the system and game the system. It's really dumb, and people are obviously going to do it. It happens in video games all the time. Of course, people are going to exploit the system. Duh, it's human nature. A perfect example is with me and COVID. I got laid off when COVID happened, and I could have found another job the next day. I am somebody that is not too proud to mop floors, dig ditches, whatever. I could have done it, but why would I have? They're going to pay me close to $800 a week to not work, and the only criteria to get that money is to not dig ditches and to not mop floors and to not be a productive member of society. Why would I have done that? But if you would have just given people the flat amount of money, no stipulations, I'd have taken the money and then I'd have gone to work. And we would be in a much less ridiculous situation if we did that and gave people incentives that made sense than doing what we're doing now, where everybody's gaming the system and trying to get an upper hand. It's so silly. Like, this is the obvious result. Honestly, this just seems like a Hail Mary play from Joe Biden, where they're just going for it. They're gonna lose the game if they don't get this. And they're going for that Hail Mary throw all the way down the field. And there's a high chance that a Republican intercepts that ball and takes it to the House. But I don't know, maybe it works out for them, maybe it doesn't. I'm not super confident it's going to work out for them. Not because there aren't a lot of people that are going to get this free money and like it, but because the human brain is very, fear of missing out is a very big deal. I'll give you an example. If you find $20 on the street, you're happy, right? You know, it feels good, found $20. But that is nowhere near the feeling of dread of losing $20. If you had a $20 bill, where did I put it? Where did I put it? You know, you're checking your pockets. That absolute dread that you get, that fear of missing out or fear of losing out is huge. It's so much more powerful than the joy of finding $20. I absolutely think this is going to play out at the polls. I think you're going to see many more people that turn up to vote that are angry that they did the right thing and now they're having to pay for the people that didn't. I think there's going to be a much bigger group of people in that camp than in the camp of the handout recipients. So we'll see, but that's the only thing you can do. If you are not a fan of this, you have to vote against it. You gotta show them, man. That's the only thing you can do. So you can be mad in the comments below, but you gotta actually do the work and vote against it too.